be pretty... No, actually, sherbet. That could be pretty... there we go. I'm just gonna start in a minute. I'm gonna save it anyway, so people can watch anyway. I might as well not even like live stream. I might as well just record next time. Right, now I got 200 subs. Damn. Right, YOLO. Probably got one viewer and that's probably just me, so yeah, let's go. But I'll save it anyway, and then upload it. But let's go. So I can't remember what I said last time, to be honest. Oh yeah, we left off here, and price is like here or something. And oh yeah, I did my projection for next week. Okay. And what happened today actually was really clean. So obviously our structure points did change, but I was going along the line that this was inducement. So I wanted to see, I'm pretty sure I said, I wanted to see M5 or M15 accumulation below here to start buying to here. Just because we see M15 accumulation does not mean price is going to come to this high. Obviously this is an obstacle for other reasons that I'll probably explain in the future. And yeah, so how would I play this? After the M15 accumulation, I would be playing M15 structure all the way to this high until I see M15 distribution. If I see M15 distribution, obviously I'll sell to equal those. But yeah, so let's look at today's price action. Right, this morning, obviously I went with the line that this is inducement, so I wanted to see M15 breaker structure, and we saw M15 breaker structure as our accumulation with liquidity. Oops. Obviously feeding into, if you choose an order block, that's absolutely fine. And now this trade can be held all the way to this high. Obviously you're going to partial that places in here. Won't go over that just now. And yeah, that's basically how you'd play this morning. But one thing I want to go over is just how what I've been trying to like consolidate and try and get in your heads is time frames. Okay, so let's look at this. If I was choosing H1 once the structure points changed, this would have been my PD array of choice, and just look at how price reacts here. When I was talking about time frames, I said I used the H1, M15, M5 example. I said if H1 is your target and you enter with M5, you can have M15 as your obstacle, right? If you're entering with M5 and trying to get to H1, you have an M15 obstacle that you have to observe and partial. Okay? What the fuck did I just do there? And look at this morning. We've tapped into a H1 PD array, and if we want H1 to get to H1, which is down here, if we want H1 to make a new low, and we're entering with M5, we have to break M15. So we played into this H1 PD array. We had an M5 breaker structure, very clean breaker structure there, and obviously it retraced. Now this does not equate to a H1 low, as we can see. We have to break M15, right? M15 is our obstacle. Where is M15? Structure. Here to here. So like this M5 entry that you got from H1 has an obstacle of M15, and our obstacle is whatever PD array that you choose. Choosing the order block is fine here, but in terms of the obstacle, we have to break this low in order to confirm a low, right? In terms of like M15 structure is still bullish right now, so we cannot say for a fact that these cells will hold even though we've had an M5 break structure, blah blah blah. It's because M15 is not aligned with H1 or M5, right? But obviously went with the line that this was inducement, so wouldn't really expect the H1 low to play out anyway. But I just want to show you that if you want to understand your time frames, it's really easy following these rules. Okay, so yeah, I just want to make that kind of clear or whatever, that if you use this model, for example, if you use this model here, so we outlined this was range, 1 below control and then control. If you enter on control, you're going to have no obstacles to get to range, but if you enter on 1 below, you're going to have control as an obstacle. Like here, we entered from a H1 with M5, that means M15 is our obstacle. And obviously you can see the obstacle played out because this was, we went with don't start stirring again. We went with the fact that this was inducement rather than break structure, so yeah, we would want to see price come all the way up to here, which is exactly what happened. And it's not hard. I've already shown types of accumulation, break structure being one of them, and liquidity feeding in, that makes it higher probability. And it's exactly what we said on Sunday, I don't know when it was, Saturday, Sunday, Friday, I don't know the day. And yeah, now all you have to do is play M15 structure into this high. If you start seeing distribution M15, then obviously you can start selling and close out the buyers just as a hedge. But also clean IOFED, go and look at the last one I showed and see how similar they are in terms of just look at why this is an IOFD and why the other one was. Like, just look at structure, and I don't want to talk about it because I'm not going to talk about PD arrays, but that is a clue. Look at how are they similar in terms of structure and why those two specific fair value gaps have been chosen instead of like this one, for example. But yeah, I'm not going to get into that too deeply. But yeah, it's as simple as that. Like this morning, I had no idea what the bias was. Obviously, I understand my structure. I never know what the bias is, by the way. I understand the structure. The H1 is obviously, it's got bearish structure, but I assume it's inducement, and this is still my target, unless I see M15 break. Oops. And obviously, I'm observing my time frames. So, if I see an M5 break structure, cool. That means M15 retracement. Does not mean H1 low. Of course, it can end in a H1 low, but we have to break this obstacle. And it just depends whether you think, from a H1 perspective, this is inducement rather than breaking structure. Now, the reason I even thought it was inducement in the first place is because, and this is a good lesson for people that get confused with this, is because this is my H4 PD area that I want to see get tapped. So, to me, my retracement is not complete on a H4 perspective. If we go back to H4 low high, H4 low, and now I'm going to play H1 structure to this level, and we see we didn't even reach this key level, so therefore, in my opinion, the retracement is not complete. So when price takes out high low here, I'm going to assume that's inducement rather than breaking structure, because we're not at my objective yet. So it doesn't really make sense for H1 to sell off. Obviously it can, and there's another reason why this is a very strong obstacle, and I'll go into that in the future, but it doesn't matter. You don't even have to TP, you don't even have to hit TP. Let's see what these were if you took out the OB just from today. It's just, then who says that's your target? You could target at this 1 to 3, wherever, equal highs, wherever. You don't have to hit TP in order to have a successful trade. You just need to understand time frames. Like I've said 50,000 times, time frames, structure, And once you get good at time frames, you can now incorporate obstacles, and then liquidity, and there's something else that I can't think of. PD arrays. That's it. There's nothing fancy at all. But the main thing today that I really wanted to showcase was how the M5 did not equate to H1, which I explained when I did the last live stream. And I really like how it bought from below these equal lows. And potentially right now, M15 is still bullish. We've still got bullish structure, so it's getting a bit late in the day now for me, but I would still continue to play this bullish structure into this high until I see some sort of distribution. If I see distribution M15 or whatever, then obviously I'll start selling, but yeah. I don't know, it's just really, really simple. And one day, either this week or next week, I'll do a live day in price action, so I'll get in London and show you exactly how I would see the charts and manage trades and blah blah blah. But yeah, I'll make the other video public as well, for a short period of time. Like, I don't want to be some YouTuber or whatever, but I know some of you wanted me to upload that again, so I will do that. And I'll leave this one on for a while, but yeah, because I don't know, I'll make them private actually and send the link over. But yeah, yeah, and obviously this is really good as well. Even if you entered after the M5 break structure and you were targeting this H1 low, you still have to partial the M15 obstacle, which we'll get deeper in. But yeah, obstacles are to hedge and partial, because you don't know if they're going to break or hold, and you don't have to know if they're going to break or hold. Like, bias is just not important to me. I don't know the weekly bias or the daily bias ever. I just play off time frames. What are my time frames telling me? And it's simple, because this morning, if you're trying to figure out the daily bias or the London bias, like, I'm not going to lie, I have absolutely no clue. I just know that my M15 structure is still bullish. It's my obstacle. If my M5 breaks, then cool, I can sell, but I'm going to buy at my obstacle. And then if you have the sell and the buy on, sell here at M5 and buy at M15, you just let them play. Like, at this point, when prices like at this candle and they're both in profit, to me it's just luck. Whichever works, and then I just react off that. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, hopefully still trying to target this, and then these equal highs, and then my overall H4 target. And yeah, hopefully there's nothing really else to say. Like, this is really short and sweet because my trading is just so simple. And yeah, I don't know, I will let you know when I'm doing the live, actually, like in price action kind of one. But it's a bit long. Like, I don't know if I can be able to sit down for 6 hours a day, but I will do one eventually. Maybe just a London session. I'll have to see. But yeah, but I want to talk about more, but there's nothing else to talk about because it's so simple. But yeah, like, so there's nothing really else to talk about. So yeah, fuck knows. It's just what I said on Sunday. I think it was Sunday. I can't remember when it was. Yeah, it happened, and obviously it doesn't even have to reach this high. Like, there's still a successful trade here. And if you look at your dollar, you'll get more insight. Look at dollar and H4 perspective. Really, really clean. There's potential accumulation there in terms of EU. So go and look at that. It's always really important to look at the dollar when you're analysing EU. But yeah, and also, this is one thing I want to look at. Yeah, by the way, this doesn't matter if it's Asia low, structure over liquidity every day of the week. It's irrelevant that it's Asia low. Just want to put that out there. You know, always structure over liquidity, because obviously these equal lows with major liquidity. Like, previous week's low never got taken. It's absolutely fine. Asia low never got taken because structure over liquidity. But look, what I was talking about in the forum or thread. Asia is like key liquidity, so it can be like a pullback zone, so we can expect some sort of pullback. Plus we're in a H1 PY anyway. And then there's the M5 breaker structure, oops, at the pullback zone, so we can trust this breaker structure to cause an M15 retracement into our order block, and then you just hedge, because this originates from a H1 PY, yeah, it can come and make a H1 low, but obviously we have to break this obstacle right here, and this obstacle held because I was bullish anyway, because I thought this is an inducement rather than break structure. But yeah, that's pretty much it, to be honest. I'm not going to try to drag it on anymore, but yeah, I guess that's that, and we'll just have to see what happens now. If the target gets hit, I'll no point putting it in the chat because you guys can see, but if there's some sort of, like, if price never reaches here and starts to sell off, I'll explain why, because there will be a reason. There's always a reason. There'll be some sort of distribution, or, but even so, like, this is an obstacle in itself. In the future I will go over why this is an obstacle, like a strong obstacle. I mean, structurally it's still bearish anyway, so it can still come and make a lower low. That's one reason, but there is another reason that it is a strong obstacle. So you could hedge here with smaller risk, and for me it would be smaller because I see this as inducement, not bearish. So the only way I'd be strongly selling is M15 distribution, like I've said, or if I were to explain why this was a strong obstacle, the other reason, that's another reason to sell. So, but I'm not going to explain that, so won't count this as a sell in terms of, like, yeah, I'm just going to show it, but it could still sell off. But right now, obviously I'm sticking with the bullish bias, and if I were to sell here, it would be with low risk. Like, ideally this was the whole obstacle, but I didn't want to take a 60 pip stop loss, right? So I'm waiting for that lower time frame distribution before I even consider selling. But I don't want to sell, I want this hard to get taken. So yeah, journal this price action here this morning in terms of the time frames, how, like I outlined, let's just say this one more time, how I outlined on Sunday. M5 entry at H1 does not equate to H1 target. You have to break that M15 obstacle, and once you get them, because this can be fractal, of course, you can use all time frames. Once you master that, you can trade anywhere, anytime. That's the most important thing. Time frames, identifying your structural points, and then PD arrays. But if you just always stick to order blocks, you're not going to get every single entry like fair value gaps or IOFEDs, whatever, or breakers, but you'll still get trades, and yeah. So yeah, I need a toilet, so probably gonna go, but I will make those videos public for a while, and yeah, and I will let you know when I'm doing a live video. So I can't remember how I ended this last time. Damn. But yeah, anyway, hopefully this makes sense. Obviously, ask me questions in the forum. I'll happily answer. And yeah, we'll see what happens in terms of price action, and it'll probably be next week or Friday. Well, probably be next week. I'll do the live London session or live New York session. Preferably London, because I prefer London. Just, yeah, I prefer London than New York. But yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna try to figure out how to end this again. How do I do this? There we go.